We're here with Neil and Luke from the Primary Shakespeare Company, and we're going to ask them some questions.
How do you feel that still in 2017, children all across the UK have plucked up the courage to perform Shakespeare?
I think it's really important to keep performing Shakespeare, and I think it's because if you do it when you're age and not when you're 15 at secondary school, you understand that it's just really good stories, and that you're not scared of using strange language and difficult text. You will understand the scene that you're doing, don't you? Yeah? And you get to get up and perform it, and the next time you see Shakespeare will probably be when you're about 15 at secondary school, and they'll ask you to read it rather than perform it, and you can say, well, we performed this when we were in primary school, and I think that's brilliant.
What inspired you to be in your position now?
That's a really good question. I think it was. I have to make a confession here. I used not to like Shakespeare very much, and I worked as a professional actor, and I didn't really like doing Shakespeare when I was a professional actor. But I started doing a bit of teaching, and somebody made me teach Shakespeare to children about your age, and it was. I had to think of a way to make it exciting and so on. And then when once I sort of got a little bit of a hang of that, and I could see how much those children got out of it, I thought, oh, actually, maybe Shakespeare, they seem to be really interested in Shakespeare, more interested in me, and I started to get more, and I started to understand it more, really from teaching children like you, and because that started to happen, and I could see how enthusiastic they were, it made me excited, and I got better at doing it, and so it built from there, and that sort of started about 12 years ago, so I've been doing it for quite a long time. And now I love it. Really, I do, really. I think Shakespeare's brilliant. I don't want anybody to think I don't think Shakespeare's brilliant.
You can talk, can't you? Really can talk.
How did you come up with a song each year for the end of the festival?
So I think it's got to be, every year it's got to be exciting, it's got to be fun, and it's the last thing that your parents and adults come and see. So it's got to be quite happy, because a lot of the shows that we do are quite scary and miserable shows.
All the shows we do.
All the shows that we do. So it's nice to have a big happy piece of music at the end. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, where can I find the happy in Julius Caesar?
How does it feel to help educate children about Shakespeare's sonnets and plays?
Brilliant. One of the best jobs in the world. There we are.
Good, thanks. Cut that really short. That's really good.
No, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I love it, because every year, and each class, each child that you work with is different, and the way that they understand it is just a little bit different. And when we're rehearsing and we're making theatre together, which is what we're doing, it's about your ideas, and everybody's ideas are a bit different. So every year when we do this, I'm always surprised, always excited, and always so pleased when I see what people have done, because I go, I would never have thought of that. But it's having 30, how many are there in your class? 30, yeah, 30 different people's ideas in the room, and it's people like Jo coming in, and what Jo does is she helps take your ideas and make a sort of jigsaw out of them, which makes a whole picture and a whole scene. You've all had your ideas in that scene, haven't you? Yeah, you've all contributed. Yeah, that for me is one of the best things. Like I said, a great job.
If you were to be featured in any of Shakespeare's plays, which one would it be and why?
Okay, so I think we should answer for each other. I think
That's
if
great,
Luke could play any character in Shakespeare, I think he would be Prospero in The Tempest, because he's in command of a whole island to himself. He does magic, and he feels like he's changing the world.
I love that answer. That's really good. Neil, I don't want you to be insulted by this. I think that you would be a brilliant Iago in Othello.
Evil Iago.
Yeah, no, but also what he's so good. He's so good at reading the situation. He's fantastic. He has such brilliant plans, and Neil is a brilliant planner. He always comes up with really exciting ideas.
He's a really evil character.
Yeah, but he is an evil character, but he's one of the best parts in Shakespeare, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Fantastic questions.
Thank you for answering those questions.
and we're really looking forward to seeing your bit of theatre. Which
Yeah.
bit have you got? Which bit of the play are you doing this afternoon?
Oh,
What
okay.
happens in Act 2?
When Caesar's of Shakespeare comes
Do you do the nightmare? Do you do Calpurnius night?
Yeah.
You do, yeah.
All right, we look forward to seeing that later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're here with Yamin and Mikkel. We're going to ask them some questions. Is it hard to create the atmosphere for the play?
No, it's not hard to create the atmosphere for the play. That's what the lighting and sound is supposed to do. What's hard sometimes is that the directors of a piece have like a vision, and it's sometimes hard to recreate the vision in their head. But working together, you can create something together that might be close to what they were feeling.
Who inspired you to be so tacky?
I grew up as an actor, so I was on the stage, and I used to like music and do DJing and that kind of thing. And I don't know, I put two and two together and started doing both. And I started watching people from other theatres, like Hackney Empire Theatre. The technical man who did was fantastic, and I used to watch what he used to do. When I was on stage acting, I was trying to take in what he was doing as well. And so just the joy of performing, but also being behind the scenes and doing a big important part of it and making it all work, I think that inspired me the most.
Is there any pressure on you when you are doing the effects for the play? If so, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, there's always a lot of pressure. There's a
pressure.
lot of pressure because you don't want to let down the directors who are telling you what to do, and you don't want to let down the performers who you might throw off. You know what I mean? If a cue goes wrong, if you play a big sound effect and it distracts everybody on stage, you could ruin everything. So there's a lot of pressure. How do you deal with it?
You always have to be concentrating when you're doing it, because we have to follow the script line by line and make sure that we're getting the lines right, as well as pressing the button at the same time, as well as mix it on the mix at the same time. So it is. Sometimes you think to yourself, oh my God, have I got it right? Have I got it right? Have I got it right? And you might press it, or you might not press it, like, and then you press it, and then you got it right. So it is a lot of pressure. You
Also,
don't let no one down.
with everything else as well, if you do make a mistake, just got to get over it and get on with it. You can't let that distract you or feel bad for the rest of the show. You just got to keep going.
What is your favourite special effects?
Mine will probably be pyrotechnics.
Yeah, same. Do you know what pyrotechnics are?
No.
Imagine fireworks, but on your stage. So they're like controlled. You can have fire. You can have like what looks like a firework with all the sparks coming out, but you do it in a way that's controlled and safe within a building and for an audience and for performers, and that's called pyrotechnic.
So there's special training for that.
Yeah.
You can go and you can get special training on how to use it safely and to make sure everybody's safe. And there's rules and regulations for how you should use it and what you should use in certain places and so on and so forth. But once it's done correctly, in a performance, looks amazing.
Or making people fly. That's another one that I like. Making people fly across the stage.
Yeah, it's scary.
What does it feel like to help out in Shakespeare?
With the Primary Shakespeare Company, or just working on Shakespeare?
Just working on Shakespeare.
Shakespeare's a hard one for me because I didn't really like Shakespeare at school. I think a lot of people will say that. But I guess with this one in particular, watching young people perform Shakespeare makes you understand it more, because they're saying it in a way and they're behaving in a way that just makes it clearer almost for me. So I actually really enjoy working on this Shakespeare because it's young performers, and I just find it more exciting watching young performers.
I'd agree. I mean, Shakespeare is difficult, and when I was your age, I didn't get the opportunity to learn Shakespeare at a young age. So I learned when I was in secondary school.
Yeah.
And in secondary school, by then, I kind of knew the stories of Shakespeare, but the kind of the modern version, different versions, so on and so forth. So I didn't get to take in the Shakespeare or what it was. I actually performed in a play which we took Shakespeare's script and played it for a bit and made it a bit more modern. So we had some Shakespeare language in it as well as some modern language, and we mixed it up a little bit. But it would have been amazing for me to have learned it and understood it at a younger age than I did at the time.
Do you not like Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your favourite?
Romeo and Juliet.